Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cowdino Arcade. We're back with video game therapy. I'm gonna be honest, it feels like a lot of time happens between each one of these. It almost like last 2 weeks I felt like, oh my god, I missed the last two video game therapies. They are feeling a tiny bit forced in the sense that like I'm putting aside time to make them. But at the same time, I do have plenty of, times where I could record one. So I'm gonna keep pushing through it, and we'll see. But anyway, today I want to talk about something I've been thinking about all week. It's Friday, the 15th, and what am I not thinking? I've been thinking a lot about progress. Now, more specifically, I've been thinking about progress in respect to experience, or perhaps experience in respect to progress. Now, when I was younger, and still to a very large extent, I believe that when it comes to one's ability to do something, they should not be considered, their age should not be a factor. Just because I'm 15 doesn't mean I can't code. Now, obviously I couldn't code well, but I think I could, I could do things to a certain extent, and I was definitely willing to learn. But there comes a lot of things with experience. Maturity itself aside, it's a lot. Age is simply a metric that we use to say how mature is someone, how much experience do they have. And, some people are going to have more experience with particular things than others. But that's not particularly the point of today. The point of today is building up experience. And more specifically, how do I connect these dots here? If one is inexperienced, it can be hard to learn how to become experienced. It just comes with time. For example, video editing. I started when I was in the 6th grade. I didn't know what I was doing. I was using Windows Movie Maker. And now I'm using Premiere, and I would consider myself to know Premiere to a very professional level. It's a resume byline and everything. Now, however, if I was, coming to Premiere brand new, I would think, where do I start? Live tutorials are great. If you know me, I'm a pretty big proponent of those, but they're simply an open, they're an open book, right? They expose you to where to start for things. Now, a more explicit area, one in which I'm definitely not experienced nor know much about, is parkour. I started parkour about 3 months ago, so it's middle of October, start of August, end of July-ish. So about 3 months ago. And I didn't know where to, keep going, would be a bit more accurate. I knew where to start, they were saying, do this. And I was kind of just doing it. And so I was wondering, I wonder how I can get better at this. What things can I do to improve? What things can I do in my room to improve? And then I started going to some indoor classes to work on acro basics, so just basic acrobatic movements and stuff. And something that occurred to me because someone else who was new was asking the coach about this, and I sort of interjected myself and said, like, here's something, because I've been thinking about this with everything, and so parkour is just applicable. Some things only become clear once you've simply exposed yourself to enough things that are related to it. So, where to next improve in parkour might only become clear after you just show up for a few weeks. And that was definitely the case for me. As I went to more acro basics classes, I saw more moves that I knew I wouldn't be able to do. As I go to more outdoor classes, it becomes clear to me that my mobility here sucks. I can work on my grip strength for cat hangs or something. And this is the case for everything, I think. Jumping into linguistics, I guess I never really thought, how do I get better at this, because I never aimed to in the start. computer science, coding, you know, I'm in a bubble, right, of what I know to do. So I have to figure out how to pop that bubble, so to speak. And something like that just comes with experience. And, you know, one of those experiences right now is this blog page project I'm working on. I'm simply exposing myself to different things that I've worked with once and therefore, you know, don't really remember. But these various things that I'm working on. And it's great because it shows me, you know, something to learn. And I kind of like to think of this as collecting a lot of dots and not connecting them until later on, until you've collected several of them. Now, what this means to you, of course, you know, this is up to you to do something with, right? But sometimes you just gotta try things a handful of times before you can, you know where to go with it. Sometimes you gotta wander around a field, I guess, or wander around a trail. I don't know how to make this to an analogy. Sometimes you gotta wander around before picking a direction to go in. Because you can always come back. You can always come back and go a different direction, more or less. Excuse me. I don't think I slept well last night. I mean, it's, you know, 9:15 in the morning. Got up around 8, but anyway. Maybe another short VGT. I'm not entirely certain, but yeah, you know, think of something that maybe you're struggling with in a sense. Japanese is another great example because I've talked about that on video game therapy before. You know, at the start, I just knew to learn how to read and write different characters, hiragana and katakana, kanji aside. And then I knew I had to learn kanji, and so I found a method for it. And the method's really working. And I'm also reading about grammar rules, and it was only, you know, after I started getting really into both of these things that all of these dots started connecting. And it's kind of like I'm learning different parts of Japanese, and at some point I realized they're fitting into the same puzzle. And it's great. It's just something that works for me, I guess. So, you know, if you're feeling directionless, stick with it for a little bit. See if you can just simply build up the experience and ask the right questions. Extrapolating a little bit, I suppose, because I've kind of realized a few things as I'm speaking about this. With art, I guess I could say, like, I've tried, you know, drawing, and, you know, I've looked into how to get better, but I have never really stuck with it solely for the sake of sticking with it. And so, you know, maybe that's something to try. If I want to get better at art, but I don't know explicitly what to do, maybe I just do draw a box anyway. You know, maybe there are dots that I've collected, but I simply haven't been able to connect yet. Because I don't see the connections. I don't see how the dots are related, so to speak. I'm not sure if any of this last part makes sense. I'm not sure if any of this ever makes sense. But that has been what was on my mind this week. That was not a well-formed sentence, but hopefully you know what I mean. And yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I kind of want to go play some Outer Wilds. So thanks for watching and or listening. Let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. I'll try to make these VGTs VGT-esque in the future, but you just really can't force them. So have a good one, and as always, don't forget to stay awesome. See you next week.